Rights to freedom is dead. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Elite. Before we get started, please make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. All of that helps the reach and the growth of the channel. For everything you do, thank you very much. So we're going to be discussing a story that has essentially been swept under the rug. And it's a story of a young, and that's the problem with this, a very young sleeper terrorist, a racist, all-white national terrorist who was essentially going to commit an act of mass terrorism, more than likely against a group of black people, as you can see with Dylan Roof, with Ryan Palmetto, with all of these other people who've been doing that. You've been seeing this, so this is nothing new. Peyton Gendron, this is nothing new. So this is what we're talking about when we say the people who need to be on the biggest watch list, the people who need to be the ones who are most policed, are not being policed, are not being supervised, and are this close. Now, luckily in this situation, they were able to stop him before he committed an act of mass terrorism, but in most situations, they don't do that. So we're going to be looking at this story, we're going to be reviewing the facts of the case, and then we're going to be discussing it. White supremacist student jailed for 7 years for sharing terror documents. A quote, cold and calculating white supremacist A-level student who read Mayan Kim at the age of 10 or 11 was given an extended prison sentence of 7 years for sharing terrorism documents, including instructions on how to make bombs and weapons. Malakia Wheeler of Swindon, Wiltshire, was convicted by a jury at Winchester Crown Court of 6 charges, including possessing copies of the Terrorist Handbook, the Anarchist Handbook, and a document called Homemade Detonators in early 2021. The 18-year-old, who was convicted of sharing 92 documents and 35 images in a chat room, as well as 2 other charges of sharing instructions on how to use items that could be used to perform acts of terrorism, including smoke grenades. The catch included manifestos of Noranian mass murder, Anders Breivik, and the Christchurch mosque killer, Britton Tarrant. Now, before we continue, I have to say that these people are always telling black people, you know what, you guys got to stop listening to hip hop, stop looking up to rappers, stop looking up to gangs and thugs, and need more fathers in the home. Nobody's going to talk about his childhood and the music he listens to or the people he looks up to. Nobody's going to mention that. Now, when they talk about Chicago or when they talk about gangs and thugs and stuff like that, the most extreme black gang, the most extreme hardcore black thug you could find is not on this type of energy at all. And I'm talking about the ones who are hardened criminals who've been back and forth to prison and they got street cred all around the country. They're not on this type of page at all. And keep in mind, one of the most dangerous things about this is that he is only 18 years old. He's been reading Mein Kampf since the age of 10 or 11. All right. 10 or 11. That's like literally when you first started to be able to read. Okay. That book, just the level that book is advanced for his mind anyway at the age of 10. That means an adult had to have given him that book and read it along with him. But they're not going to answer that. And they're saying he's saying stuff in chat rooms. It seems like when we talk about these white supremacists and all their terrorism acts, it's a lot of chat rooms going on. What chat room was he in? Who else was in this chat room? He's been sharing all of these things. How come nobody has caught him way before? 92 documents? Like, it seems like he's been doing this for a long time. It continues to say, Judge Jane Miller, KC, I'm assuming that means Kansas City, told Wheeler, quote, in reality, you are a deeply entrenched racist and white supremacist with an extreme white ring mindset with a sinister intent in violence and insurrection. Listening to your evidence was deeply disturbing and chilling, particularly coming from a man who was just 16. So they're saying he's 16, so I guess he was tried when he was 16 and he's just been convicted or just been sentenced. Or maybe his sentence has just been enhanced when he was 18 because they went back from 18 to 16. Continuing, I find you intended to encourage others to engage in terrorist activity. She added, you come across as cold and calculating, and you have no remorse as far as I can see. She said Wheeler possesses an, quote, obvious danger to the public, and added, there is a significant risk of you causing further harm by further offenses. The judge said Wheeler will serve the first 6 years of his sentence in prison with the final year on license. So you guys know, serving a sentence on license or a year on license is pretty much probation. That's pretty much probation, but you have strict penalties. Like that's probation with like an ankle monitor, or people are always coming and check in on you. You can't maybe drink, or you can't go to certain places or certain events or certain things like that. That's pretty much what that is, serving time on license. She said Wheeler was brought up by his father, who was, quote, anti-Semitic and a Holocaust denier, and given a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, which he began reading at age 10 or 11. Now, here's the thing. This is what we say when we tell people that they pass things down to their children. Because people tell us all the time they're not going to be like their grandfathers, they're not going to be like their ancestors, and things are getting better. The old folks are dying out, and a new world is coming. And they're proving that that's not the case. They are deliberately passing this stuff, this ideology, this mentality down to their offspring. And it happens every single generation without fail. The racist great-great-grandfathers passed it down to the great-grandfathers, who passed it down to the grandfathers, who passed it down to the fathers and the sons. That's how it works. And then when they become of age, they'll pass it down to their children. It continues to say, he was involved in discussions about a violent insurrection on internet forums, and 100 videos were found on his phone, which include, quote, shootings, lynchings, and executions. Now, my question to this is, who are the people being lynched? Who are the people being executed? See, it's not just him. It's not just Wheeler. They need to go back and they need to circle back. This is evidence of a whole organization. He needs to be facing a RICO charge. Now, they'll put a RICO charge on a black rapper just based off of some lyrics. This is hardcore evidence that there is a RICO organization going on and they need to pursue a RICO charge. But you're not going to hear them talk about that. It continues to say, Wheeler told the court he had an interest in National Socialism as well as anti-Zionism, and admitted using a Nazi swastika as a part of his profile image on the social media platform Telegram. Given evidence, he said he downloaded the documents because he wanted to create an archive of items he believed would be deleted from Telegram and the internet. He said he viewed terrorists and other violent videos out of, quote, morbid curiosity. He admitted being photographed in a skull mask and doing a Nazi salute, but denied being a white supremacist. Really? Really? So he admits to doing the things and committing the actions and behaviors of a white supremacist, but denied being one. Okay. Just lying to the bitter end. Abigail Bright, defending, said Wheeler had a, quote, lack of maturity and had showed signs of a, quote, really serious prospect of an early rehabilitation. She added, the defendant had a reckless rather than any other state of mind. See, this is them going into that, well, he was young, his mental health wasn't all the way there, and you can't really put him 100% accountable because, he is a little immature, but his mindset is really not there. He needs to go to a rehab center. That's really what he needs. Now, this excuse, this defense never flies with black people, specifically young black men. Never ever flies. The second, and he was what, 16 or 18, that kind of flip floppy. So I guess he was 16 when he got caught. They would try him if he was the 16-year-old black person who was doing some crime as an adult, as an able-bodied adult. They wouldn't say anything about his lack of maturity or anything like that. Detective Chief Superintendent James Dunkerley, head of counterterrorism policing Northeast, said, although only 16 at the time of his arrest, Wheeler was deeply entrenched in a Telegram chat room committed to extreme right-wing ideology. He continues to say, he was not simply curious or a passive observer within the group. He clearly shared the same mindset as other members and was very active when it came to promoting racist and anti Semitic views and propaganda. It is important young people recognize the potential impact of their online activity before they cross a line into criminality or engage in harmful or dangerous behaviors. Nick Price, head of the CPS Special Crime and Counterterrorism Division, said Malachi Wheeler was a highly active member of an extreme right wing online chat group whose discussions were far from idle conversation. The content Wheeler shared was racist, anti Semitic, and include information on how to create weapons and explosives. His conviction and sentence should send a clear message to anyone engaging in such activities that the CPS and police will work together wherever there's evidence of a crime to bring offenders to justice. Now, the thing about this is they talk about these chat rooms, and this is something we bring up all the time. When we say you guys are paying way too much attention to what we got going on over here, you guys need to be monitoring these chat rooms, because every time you see an act of mass terrorism, whether that's from Dylan Roof, whether that's from Ryan Palmetto, whether that's this manifesto, this killer, whoever, it's always manifesto, and they're always in cahoots with somebody in a Reddit chat room, Telegram chat room, all of these different chat rooms. They're always in cahoots with someone in these different chat rooms. Yet the police department, the FBI, doesn't monitor these chat rooms nearly as much as they should in order to prevent that. Not only should him be in prison for his potential acts, but you need to monitor everybody who was in the chat room, who knew about it. What are you going to do with his father? His father gave him that book at the age of 10 or 11. What are you going to do with his father? Where is his mother? Who else knew about this? Now, had they been black, it would be a RICO charge on everybody. They would get his father, his mother, if he had any siblings, they get them too. They get the grandparents, they get the neighbor, they get the mailman, they get everybody and their mama if this person was black. All right. But when it comes to him, they'll throw one of them under the bus to save the rest. What needs to happen is you guys, you have the evidence, you have hundreds of videos, documents, lynchings, and I'm curious as to find out, we got all these missing black people around in the nation, and we're the number one most disproportionate amount of people who are missing and kidnapped with no results. So I want to know, what are the lynching videos of? Who's the one? Who are the people being executed? It's kind of not making any sense. You guys need to do a more further investigation than to just point the finger at him, because clearly the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than what they're trying to go into. Now, I want to know what you all think in the comment section below. What do you think about his case getting 7 years, but the last year is on license? What do you think the police department should do about these chat rooms or preventing certain crimes? What do you think about them opening up a RICO charge for all of them, the dad, the people who are in the chat room? What do you think about that? I want to know that in the comment section below. Also, you should be following me on my various social media pages, which is Afro Elite on Instagram and then The Afro Elite on Twitter. Please do not forget do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We are very, very close, y'all. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, hit everything you can, all right? Leave a comment, share this, all of that. We are so very close to our goal, and that's because of you all. So thank you all so very much. Now, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you all. You all have a good one.